Hello, hello. This one, I am going blind. I never saw anything about this path of Achra, so it's a first for me. I see a struggle, some berserk, what? How do you call it? The thing? Wait, let me pause to remember the word. Reference. I remembered the word. Some berserk reference. It's painted over with the sassy things. Is sassy the name? Zesty. Zesty is how people say it. Is zesty, right? Bro, I do believe Miura, he reached a point that... Oh, this was the second fight of them when Guts got away. I remember reading it, and I thought it was going to be a duel, and they would fight like in the first fight that they have, that Grift won, but just one attack. I think Miura got to a point that the old artists wanted to do. All the artists wanted to reach some kind of divinity with the art that they made. I think Miura got to that point to get his art to the maximum, to the peak of what a human can aspire to do. You know what I mean? I think he reached that point of divinity. Very sad that he died. They still trying to complete the story because he told his friend. It seems like he told his friend what he wanted to do, and let's see how it goes. Wait, I am waiting to end, so when it ends, I will read from the beginning again until the end. I think I stopped the reading when they were in the boat trying to go to the island, the ferry island or something like that. A little before that, I think, is when I stopped the reading to wait for new chapters. Okay, let's... Oh yeah, this game, I have no idea what it is about. I never saw anyone playing. Never saw anything about it, really. So, it's from 2023? Huh. Okay.
Seth here. If I sound sick, I am sick. I ate rare water buffalo from Zhengzhou Wet Market, and I feel ill at ease. Hello, Chud. Apply your finasteride and strap in, because I have a new hyperfixation. It's difficult to recommend a roguelike with the full knowledge that I'm asking you to memorize.
I like roguelike games, so depending on how this goes, maybe I put on my ever-growing wish list.
Keybinds for an entire keyboard and dedicate the next week of your adult life to using advanced inventory management to haul a diesel engine across town in a game with less visual fidelity than the graphing calculator I used to cheat on my math exam. Path of Achra is not only the fastest roguelike out there, it's also the only one that can be played by holding a single key. Similarly, you can speedrun adverts by pressing L on your keyboard.
Buenos días, amigos.
I'm currently in Mexico. Don't ask why. I've got just one small problem. All of my favorite shows are region locked. And by a region locked, I of course mean watching anything other than Dragon Ball Z in my area is punishable by death due to regional licensing agreements. But if you're seeing this video, that means I didn't get caught.
Bro, what Nintendo is doing these days? We have to stop them. But the thing is, the people will not stop buying any slop that they put out. It's been years that they don't make a good Pokemon game, at least by what people say, because I'm not a Pokemon player, never played a Pokemon. And still people always buy the same games, the same slop, and now they are trying to do these stupid patents that's gonna stifle the creativity of anyone trying to do anything new. These motherfuckers. And we can just talk about it because we know, I know, you know that people will not stop buying shit. Gamers are one trailer away from stopping their protests. They say that they're not going to buy the game. They say that they're gonna stop supporting whatever they want to boycott, but then they see a cool trailer showing some character that they like it, some gamer, some stupid fucking remake again, and they're gonna buy the same shit. So we can just try to talk about it, but I think it is a lost fight. Yeah.
Because I use ExpressVPN and was able to get access to my sweet content from all over the globe. ExpressVPN routes all of your internet traffic through a secure encrypted tunnel, so nobody, not even secret hold on. Which, if you didn't know, means they are literally incapable of storing your data. Now, I'm secure. Seen before. I brought it to the locally find it as Spanish. It would take a lifetime that I could just pick VPN's blowout. Box below you, but I will automatically. Link tab 1.com/Seth. The cartels won't wait for you, but I will. Holding tab will attack the closest enemy, pick items off the ground, and take the next exit automatically. Do not mistake this ease of entry for lack of depth, because I've played this for several dozen hours, and believe me, I don't know what I'm doing.
The art is okay. I kind of getting the style of the game. There is some kind of minimalist intention on the game, but the art is very good. Every character has a bunch of little details with the powers, with what they are. Like this one is a demon. There is a little tail, some horns. This is a barbarian maybe, with a big sword. So there's some small details, very nice art too. I like pixel art, so it's a good point for me. But it seems there is a minimalist type of gameplay, which can be good. Not everything have to be a bunch of things, you know. So maybe I put this on my wish list at the end of the video.
Very simple. You pick a race, a class, and a god. This is similar to real life, where, based on channel demographics, most of you are Albanian. Each time you kill enough enemies, your glory rises, which is this game's version
and
of leveling
you
up.
choose what you want. Okay, like a good roguelike.
This gives you a choice of attributes: strength, dexterity, willpower, or vigor, and gives a
His knees.
point to spend on powers. Powers are abilities in one of 9 elements, each with a unique play style. Of these, you can
What the fuck?
mix and match up to 7 powers from a total of 3 different elements. Or you can just hit random and spontaneously die because it gave you Plague Chant. Dropping enough points in certain powers fulfills requirements, allowing you to select a prestige class, which will power scale your character from good to
Holy
ridiculous.
shit.
Completing a dungeon takes you to the Overland, where you're given a choice of up to 3 different paths you can take on the path of Achra. These give exact information on what items you'll find and which enemies you'll encounter. Items are important for survival, and enemies are doubly important, because if you don't read the fine print of their description, option, you'll die without
Oh.
knowing that a Storm Knight ignores 90% of your defense and shreds your early tank.
What the fuck?
Everything in this game works by interacting with a set of triggers. For example, we have a Cyclops warrior of Marduk. On attack, he deals blunt damage equal to half his current life bar to adjacent enemies. On game turn, he applies 7 poise to himself, amplified by his class special. I take
Poise.
points into heavyweight. When game turn, he applies 7 poise to himself, amplified by his class special. I take points into heavyweight, which deal damage to the attacker when I shrug off the attack, meaning my armor score is higher than the enemy's hit, which is the damage of an attack that connected because the enemy's accuracy is higher than my dodge. However, I have a shield. My shield blocks most attacks. Block
Holy
takes
shit.
precedence over armor, and
Kinda-
I rarely benefit.
Kinda convoluted explanation. But I guess these things you go learning as you do. I think it's easier to get the game and play and see for yourself. And as you go playing, you go learning what to do. You get the feeling of how to play, how to do buildings, builds of characters, what they do, how to fight the enemies. It's easier to do that than to hear someone talking about it. You can get an idea, but the best way is to do yourself and get the feeling for it.
This is an example of antagonistic triggers. I want to be hit, so I drop the shield. Our racial passive triggers on attack, not on hit, which means it goes off regardless if our attack actually connects. I have no natural healing, which doesn't matter because we take vigor each time glory rises, which you can automate in the bottom right. The higher my health pool, the more damage I
Oh.
do, so I hold tab and become catatonic for the next few minutes. Then I pump 10 points into heavyweight, which lets me take the Gallus prestige class, which deals 1
Victorious.
damage in a 4-tile radius each turn, and every time
Holy
I shrug
shit,
off an attack
destroying
equivalent to my encumbrance,
everything.
which is massive by the way.
Okay,
resulting in
I
me being
am
an
kinda
incredibly
liking
slow, fat
this one.
fuck who relies on enemies killing themselves by attacking my gigantic armor
There is some
score.
people that just by looking to how the game looks, like this simplistic style, they would not want to play it. But I think games are so much more. It's the playability, the gameplay. You know, I have a difficult time explaining. It's because there is a big group of people that cares just to the graphics, and they play the games on the consoles, the same games with the same things, with the same graphic. You know what I mean? And they don't. It seems like they don't care about it. I guess that's the thing. I care too much. I care about the game. I care about it as a game and as a art thing. And these people, they don't care. They just gonna boot up the PlayStation 4, the Xboxes, and they gonna play anything that has a good graphic and a stupid gameplay loop, I guess. And they never gonna give you a game like this a chance or something like that because of the graphics, motherfucker.
This is my 600-pound life, or as some might say, the ideal female form. Our god of choice, Marduk, transforms helmets we pick up to become even heavier, so we do even more damage. On the way, I managed to pick up a Maruna Sash, which makes us attack adjacent enemies on step, meaning our racial passive now triggers from simply walking up to enemies. We take the heaviest armor with the highest inflexibility, because we also found the Inu Greatsword, which, on attack per point of inflexibility, deals ice damage in a path based on encumbrance, which means every attack I do now sprays out 5 volleys of ice. Inflexibility divides speed and willpower damage bonuses, but we're incredibly obese and retarded, so we don't care. Any items that aren't needed can be burned for extra stats by mousing
Oh, it's
over them
nice
and tap.
that as you go putting things on the character, it shows. Nice, that's nice. Because there are some games that you put things, you get items, and they don't show, which is okay depending on the game. But it's nice to see it as you put it. Everything that he's using is showing.
Free. At this point, we stack strength, get fatter, and keep holding tab. Keep holding tab so long you win the game. Congratulations on beating Path of Achra on the first cycle of humility. Good luck on the second cycle of degradation. I used to think the 6th cycle of annihilation was bad. until I reached the 16th cycle of
What the
Rupture.
fuck?
But now I'm at the 32nd cycle of Outer
30
Dark,
seconds.
and time is melting.
Now this is a real roguelike.
Consuming Century Egg was a poor decision. Cycles are this game's way of stress testing a build. A solid understanding of triggers will get you through the first cycle, which is the intended difficulty. But you'll need ridiculous synergy to survive ahead. Enemies are more brutal, but the trade-off is more experience, as you'll reach your prestige class before you even finish the first 2 floors. And believe me, you're not going to survive very far without it. Glory or Death unlocks other classes, races, and gods for you to combine. It doesn't take very long. A couple successful runs are all you need to unlock every option. The only purpose of gating them is to keep new players from getting overwhelmed, and to punish me because I didn't pay the first time and I have to do it all over again. Tab builds are some of the most prominent, but there's another
What
kind
are
of
the other
gameplay,
games? Disciples, 2, Etherlords, Maya, Zeus, and Poseidon.
Do it all over again. Tab builds are some of the most prominent, but there's another kind of gameplay. It's called standing still.
Standing still and destroying everything, or let your minions or your skills that you have take care of everything. Okay,
we put everything into
that's a nice way to play. A very lazy way to play, and as a lazy guy, as a lazy monkey, I really like that.
This is what happens when I click spacebar. He Neon Genesis across the room very Evangelianly. Explanation: each time I stand still by hitting spacebar, Astro Hunting teleports me to the closest enemy and deals damage. And if I have no armor equipped, this also triggers on kill. Normally, after teleporting, you receive stasis, which prevents further teleportation. However, our god removes stasis on standstill, leading to a chain reaction, where each time I score a kill, I trigger Astro Hunting again and repeat the process. The build itself is garbage. The important thing is that you have another key to press. Summon builds are self-explanatory. You fill the screen with summons that do all the work for you. Vtuber, Druid of Ninhur. Your class weapon deals poison damage to the closest enemy on summon. Prestige in Briar Mage amplifies all poison damage by the stacks of Entangle on an enemy, which you apply each time you summon. As most summons take place on entrance, you nuke the entire floor before the turn even begins. You win the game by entering a room. We've reached perfection because we're pressing no keys at all. Grove Cult fills the screen and heals you each time you summon. Grave Chant summons
It seems a interesting game to see what you can do, how far you can push the builds that you make, and the different styles of playing. It seems it would be a fun time trying everything.
Each time you make a kill, which propagates the feedback loop. In the event you don't win outright, Arbormancy and Overgrowth applies Entangle each time a summon attacks or is attacked. Venokinesis deals poison each time you entangle, and Dread Legion randomly steroids your forces each time they die, which are instantly replaced because we summon 2 Briarfolk, 2 Geezes, a Vine Spawn, and a Hatchling every turn. Despite dumping everything into willpower, you'll quickly reach your summon limit, or simply run out of space. Star Cult applies Meditate each time you summon, which, combined with the Entangle stacks from Briar Mage and your willpower, chunks the final boss from several million to 0. The king of many colors. And I don't like any of them. In this game, there's only one active ability. Prayer. Each god has free prayers.
Oh yeah, you can choose your god, so...
enjoy putting your testicles in a vice grip and squeezing them until they burst like a little grape. Well, I've got just a build for you. Lokra, Priest of the Worm. The Worm is a god that corrodes every enemy on screen when they move or attack, and heals you from stacks of corrosion under the condition that his first prayer isn't fully charged. What does it do? It pours acid on you. If enemies are still alive, it heavily corrodes your character. If enemies are dead, you nuke yourself.
But can't your god give you a protection? Wouldn't it make sense? The god that does corrosion gives his people a corrosion resistance.
For 300 psychic damage. It charges each time you enter a new area, so you have a choice between delayed or immediate pain. It's well worth it, and a single point in life chant outweighs the chemical burn. Status effects are incredibly dangerous conditions if allowed to stack.
What the
However,
hell?
by taking points in a master power, such as Master Scorch, Freeze, Bleed, Entangle, or Doom, we are no longer affected and benefit from the condition instead. Sinking 20 points into Master Doom lets us prestige into Torturer. Each time we apply a harmful effect to ourselves, Torturer copies it to a random enemy according according to our current stacks. Master Doom applies Doom to yourself on ally or enemy death. Priest amplifies status effects, giving us 50% more Doom. The Worm's second prayer charges on Stand Still, but we take projection to make our prayers count as Stand Still, which means praying now charges the prayer. We make use of our infinite prayer with Necromancy, which on prayer summons cadavers. We fill the screen with trash summons for the purpose of killing them off. On ally death, they give us Doom stacks. Torturer propagates and copies our Doom stacks. When attacked, a creature takes 5 death damage per stack of Doom, which importantly doesn't have to connect. So my skeleton swipes at the enemy, misses, and nukes them for 6 million damage.
What the fuck?
Torturer. This is one of the most mechanically complex builds with the most actions on screen. So at this point, I recommend turning on fast mode, turning off VSync, and uncapping the frame rate. It's also incredibly fragile. Early game sucks ass, and if you encounter a Firebird, Thunder Priest, or Edlight,
it is
won't have
over.
to worry about any of that, because your run is over. With that in mind, here's something a little more reliable.
What the fuck? Goblin Gang Bang soundtrack. Okay.
Goblin Sorcerer of Apophis. Apophis gives strength each floor you climb, at the cost of taking 7% of your max health each time you're attacked. This is not a problem, because enemies will never reach you. 1 point in Burning Ooze, 10 points in Oozemancy, which summons a number of blobs equivalent to your skill level each time you pray. Each time you score a kill, your prayers reset, making this an infinite loop. To stop nuking your own summons, take Invigoration, Projection to make prayers count as Standstill,
It seems
Cult
like
to self-sustain on summon, and Dump for Rest into Star Cult.
it would be fun to try to figure it out, how to break the game.
On summon, toss into the
Do a
fire
build
and get
breaking-
infinite speed because of your racial
a
ability.
build,
Prestige into ill profit
gamey
and fill the
breaking.
screen with purple, and then punish people for standing on it. Or just go Archmagus and stack infinite meditate. Conversely, if you'd like to speedrun the game, take an Aslan of Ixana, pray twice, and die on the second turn. In all seriousness, Varia Aslan of Eris. Aslans hate praying, and Eris hates prayer. They're perfect for each other. Eris rewards you for taking the most dangerous path by upgrading your main hand weapon so hard that it hits for 1,000,000 by the time you clear
Holy
the first
shit.
zone. Her prayers do nothing, but as long as they're fully charged, you become nearly invincible. Taking a lethal blow when a prayer is fully charged triggers divine intervention, preventing death and draining your charges. An apostle can exploit this by taking a god with easy charging prayers and dying repeatedly to reset his charges. Pair this with Gore-Tide for an even bigger nuke that scales with missing health. I couldn't figure this one out. Sometimes a synergy is there, but you just can't piece it together into a working build. This was the case for me with transform builds. I tried for the longest time to make Drake form viable. Prestiging into Ogum triggers prayers on initial attack. I can't pray or receive divine intervention, but I do get to be a dragon. Then I wake up and realize Azada is a shitty god, and I could be doing this with literally anyone else. They're still interesting, and if you ever want to disappoint your deity of choice, prestige
What the fuck
horror
is this
form and watch
image?
they're still interesting, and if you ever want to disappoint your deity of choice, prestige horror form and watch the combat log as you bleed someone for 1,000,000 damage. You receive as many stacks of horror form as the damage you take, which uniquely goes into the several thousands. Triggering a different transformation replaces and inherits all of the previous stacks. Brood Umpuad of Humbaba. Each time we take damage, we get 1,000 stacks of horror form. Each time we're attacked but don't take damage, we trigger our class ability and convert this into 1,000 stacks of jackal form, which gives us approximately 3,000 speed. To put this into perspective, a game turn takes place at a speed of 5. High speed is crucial for fragile characters, and nothing is more fragile than basing your entire build on walking. On step is a lovely gimmick that doesn't work because level generation will kill you at every turn.
First walking build.
I never thought I'd be saying this, but I am countered by a narrow corridor. That doesn't mean it's not fun. Tengu Nartaka of Tengri generates insane amounts of charge from fighting barehanded while wearing his shoulder piece. Taking Master Charge gives us speed per stack of charge, which you build up by stepping with Electromancy. Technique lets us shred enemies as we walk past them. Astrostoicism teleports away enemies whenever you're cornered, and prestiging into Elise generates even more charge. Tengri gives insane dodge per point of speed, and you'll feel like a complete god. Until something smacks you from a non-attack source and you die in a single hit. All of these builds require powers. But what if you took no powers at all?
Just
well,
as I
if you
said,
somehow
he
survived
died.
to Glory 20 without a single ability, you can prestige as Anroth and double all of your current stats. Volkite Warrior of Dorok. Dorok gives us poise each time we're attacked, amplified by our class passive. Volkite supplements our damage by burning nearby enemies based on the weight of our equipment. As long as we don't move, our poise stacks will tank us to Glory 20. Even after prestiging, we take no powers. powers, because the Anroth perk is even stronger. If we have no powers, each time our glory rises, we heal to full and upgrade our main and offhand weapon with an extra 100 hidden block. This doesn't sound significant on its own, but bear with me. We pump nothing but strength, which after doubling by Anroth goes into the triple digits.
Holy
Each
shit.
point of strength increases our
Only
block
strength.
by 10%. This is applied to the base value, which is continually increased by Anroth. This leads us to having a shield with more than 1,000% extra
Holy
block.
shit.
In the absence of powers, this entire build hinges on finding a single item. The Arja Spear, which, on attack, deals ice damage in a path to the target
Ooh.
equal to our block. Since this number
Throwing
is
the
about
spear.
300,000, we annihilate every cycle
Holy
in the
shit.
game. Or we fail to find it because of poor RNG and this build falls apart.
Oh, so it's
Success
a
in the
build
higher
that
cycles
needs
is less
a build that needs a little bit of luck.
about skill and more of a dice roll if I actually get the items I need. In summary, there's a lot of builds out there, from berserkers that benefit from fighting completely nude to hemogoblin summoners that win by self-harm. It's impossible to cover them all, which is what makes it so fun. Everyone finds something different. I cheesed through with a dodge stacking mesmer and fury crafted endlessly until a friend saw the game and found a better build than anything I ever made in under an hour. This game is a fusion between highbrow and higher chromosome. The best builds are either made by master fury crafters or a Down syndrome savant, and there's no in between. Many games out there are wide as a lake and deep as a puddle. Path of Achra is a kiddie pool which you drown in, and 100 hours later,
that you can
I'm
play
still sinking. It's
however you
gameplay
want.
first, and in terms of graphics, yeah, I guess it has coloring. It's a slimline product with gameplay first, and in terms of graphics, yeah, I guess it has.
I am the type of guy that value gameplay above everything on games, so sounds like the type of game that I would like. I will definitely put on my wish list.
Color. For the Zoomers that don't have an internal monologue or the ability to visualize an apple inside their mind's eye, here's what the game looks like to the rest of us.
What the
only
fuck?
critique is that the sprites are sometimes such low fidelity that I can't interpret what they are. The golden litter is meant to be two hobgoblins carrying gold. I thought it was a caked up demon turd with muscular legs wearing heels. Naturally, it's not for everyone.
What the
if you're
fuck?
neurodivergent and your nickname at school used to be Active Shooter, you might enjoy this. Your only limitation is your creativity and your stubbornness to see it through. Even when it falls apart, restarting is a momentary setback on the path of Achra. In keeping with the lore of this game, my final score is don't know, don't care, and if I did, I wouldn't tell you. 10 out of 10. It's $10. Go get it. As always, more content to come, so stay tuned. A warm thanks to the many members of the Merchants Guild, generously funding and bankrolling these videos.
Okay.
You're all truly wonderful. Have a Merry Christmas, and I'll see you all next year.
Nice. Aniki. Okay. If you watched until here, please give a like, maybe comment something to recommend, anything for me to react, and subscribe. Yeah, that's it. Bye bye.